Dixieland of the Proletariat. We're going to talk about Southern working class history and current events through a leftist perspective. Make sure to like us on social media at Dixieland of the Proletariat or Dixie Prol. And if you want to give your wages to a bunch of rednecks, then subscribe to our Patreon page at patreon.com/DixieProl. Got a lot of cool stuff to give you, including CDs, stickers, and a cookbook. We also have a Spotify playlist with some great artists you all should check out. This podcast is brought to you by Newport 100s in the Box, Camel Silver's Black Coffee, Box Wine, Mar-a-Lago Tanning, and inadvertently becoming famous due to a Vice.com article. Shout out to our new Patreon subscribers, Andy, Cameron, Tim, Fry, and Michael. Our monthly Patreon surplus goes to groups that are run by and or help marginalized people directly. As always, I'm Nelson with...
Senior Telecommunications Director, Tommy.
I'm Cassy.
Woo! And?
No one else. It's Cassy.
How do you unmute a phone? Oh, no. Well, all right, y'all. So we're knocking off the dust for the first time in 2 weeks. We took some breaks. It was Yom Kippur and a bunch of other stuff, and we decided to take some breaks. But we're back with folks from No Evil Foods, going to talk about what's been going on and what's happening. It was a very popular episode. We ended up getting an Vice.com article, made some new fans, told some new stories, and... So while Megan tries to get back on the call, I'm going to toss it over to Cassy. Cassy's going to tell us their story about what the fuck happened with this wannabe fake shitty company. So if you want to just give us a rundown about what your experience was and what the hell happened, because my mind's totally blown from what everyone has been telling me about this. So I'm going to turn it over to you. And
it was fucking wild. It was wild. It started feeling really weird, which is why when everybody was talking about the union bid the summer before, I was like, hell yeah, like, let's do this. Kind of crazy, but Asheville has a pretty decent sized, unionized labor force. There are a lot, like the Teamsters have a pretty decent presence here. HCA just unionized under the nurses union. And apparently here in Asheville, we're such a big threat to the powers that be that the Union Avoidance Council that No Evil Foods used has its own Asheville branch. But the particular union avoidance leader, the attorney that was most present during these exchanges is not even from the Asheville branch. She's from the Atlanta branch. She's from a whole much bigger one. They were so scared from this tiny little company attempting to unionize because there's so much investment money in it that they brought the big guns out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, No Evil Foods relies a lot on venture capital. So it's the last thing they want is for their workforce to unionize, because obviously capital hates unions. So like when I read that in the article, I was like, holy shit, these people are using like all this socialist imagery, but they're just a bunch of fake shitty capitalists.
Yeah, just a bunch of fucking hipsters. One of the things that stuck out to me during like all the union busting and stuff is that like, Mike and Sadra would walk around and they'd try to be all friendly with you and, blah, 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 blah. And they started bringing their kids to work. They would have their nanny drive their children to work to like run around the hallways of the warehouse to be like, oh, look, we're a family. Ha, ha, ha. I was like, yeah, fucking cool. Me too. Except for I can't afford a nanny to drive my kid all the way to where I work. If I needed to bring my kid to work, I'd be fucked because I don't own the business. But you can do it, and that makes it cool and wholesome.
Yes. Okay. So can you take us from the beginning? So you get the job, and then for your experience, like what happens? So if you want to just give us a rundown there.
Yeah. So I get the job, and the only reason I took the job was because it seemed like, because it was small enough that, you know, I would feel like I was amongst peers when I was not necessarily the people I was working for, but the people I was working with, that I knew that that type of imagery and that type of like marketing would draw in other people that had similar ideas to me. And so that even if I didn't like where I worked, I could like who I worked with, which is way more important to me. You know, under capitalism, we minimize the negative that we do. We don't really do a whole lot of good when we use our labor. And so I was really invested in that, and I did. I met a whole lot of people, and when, you know, the union bid came out and people were really gung-ho about it, I was like, fuck yeah. You know, like this is the kind of workplace that I want to be in. And one of the reasons why was because they started changing all of this stuff really, really quickly before I got there, after I got there, and all at the tail end of these changes were like, we'll let you know if more changes are coming. But then, you know, the next week there'd be another all team meeting where we're all crammed into a little space where they put on a PowerPoint about how much fucking money they're making and how cool we are. And they throw t-shirts to the new people and ha ha ha. And it's so cool. And if you've been here for 3 months, we get you a water bottle with our logo on it. And like, you know, just all the dumb, weird corporate shit that like you wouldn't expect from a company so small, or that a company that like lambasts leftism the way that they do. You would think that like your bonus wouldn't be a $25 thermal cup, that it would be, I don't know, food or like a gift certificate to a restaurant or something, you know, that you could actually use that mattered in life.
That's what they do though. They're like, that's like, it seems like it's, I don't want to say it's a new trend because it seems like it's been going on forever, and it's definitely probably worse in like corporate areas. Tommy can probably speak on this more because he works for a big corporation, but it's just like, you know, they're like, oh, here's a gift card to Amazon, or here's a gift card to the Starbucks. I'm like, I don't have enough money to pay my rent. Like, can you give me a raise? Like, that'd be nice. Or it's like, here's a 40-cent raise. It's like, I can't feed my family. I need more soup for my family. But like, it's but you know what I mean? Like, it's, Tommy, can you want to speak on that for a bit? Because you also work for a massive corporation. Like, does your people do that too? You're muted. Tommy, you're muted.
My bad. Sorry. Yeah.
Senior telecommunications director, right?
Yeah. Senior. Don't forget.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've worked for a couple of them, but that seems to be the general thing. They're like PowerPoints on like, this is where we increased and we made this much money. Yeah, you're rock stars. And, you know, you don't get anything. You get a T-shirt, a pat on the back. You know, it's nothing at all. But you get to see, they show you like, this is how much money we're making. Oh yeah, aren't we great? You know, a company is toxic when they throw around the term family. Did they do that a lot?
Oh my God.
It's like, we're all family. Do what you can for the family. Support the family. You know, we're all family.
First off, you're not my family. Number one.
I don't even like my family.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm Italian, so family to me means something else. So like you're not part of my family. You're not my uncle. You're not a friend of ours. This thing of ours. But yeah, I work at a small business, and I hate that shit when they're like, we're all family. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers, y'all could fire me and replace me in a day. Like, I would not fire my family. You know what I mean? Like, we're not family. You're not my blood. I don't even like y'all that much. So like, stop saying we're family because, no, it's not going to happen. Like, I tell people that, and they're like, I wish that blah, blah, blah. I was like, look, no one here cares about you. Okay. All of us can be replaced at a moment's notice. There is no love. There is no family. We just do what we can to get by, and we get out as quickly as we can. Hopefully move on to something else because, it's not, I cringe when businesses say that we're a family. Every place I've worked at that says we're a family has to be the shittiest fucking place I worked at. Like, it's never good. It's like, that is like, that is coded language for like, this place is gonna fucking suck and you're gonna want to quit because we're a family.
Yeah, it's 100%. We're gonna, well, and two, like, I'm also Italian, so family means a whole lot to me, but like, I don't fuck with most of my
Hey, yeah, whoa, Paisan, hell yeah.
I don't fuck with most of my family either, though, because they're very problematic. They're very
Oh my
aggressive.
God, yeah, I know exactly.
You know? So when somebody, especially like a business owner, comes to me and they're like, we're family. To me, what that means, what that says to me is we're going to gaslight you into giving us your emotional labor on top of your physical labor. And then you're going to feel bad for setting boundaries. You want to work on Saturdays? No. Well, what about the family? That's always in my head, being Southern and also having Italian family. When somebody that isn't my family says, oh, but we're family, immediately I know I'm going to be gaslit. I know that I'm going to have my resources taken from me and I'm not going to be compensated properly. And that's what immediately comes to mind for me.
Hell yeah, same.
Right.
So they've said we're family. They show you these spreadsheets and PowerPoints about look at how much money we made, and then they give you a T-shirt, right? So what was I guess, like, I don't want to say what was the final straw, but like what give us like a finale, like what ended up happening to you personally?
So
before you what in terms of timeline, how long were you there before the union stuff happened, during the union stuff, and everything else?
I don't think that I even worked there a full 6 months.
Gotcha.
Because right when I started was when all the union stuff really started. So I'll give you guys a better timeline, but as dumb as I think the two of them are together, they can figure out timelines. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But, so
they don't know copyright law, but they can figure out timelines.
Right. There are a lot of brains doing a lot of things in that place, and I still think that it would take all of them collectively to like figure that out. But so I worked there maybe about 6 months, and I spent the majority of that like trying to unionize. I am one of the people that is immunocompromised that was working at No Evil Foods. And so I went to them and asked for time off, and I was given my time off with much to do. And then within a couple of days of me taking that time off, when North Carolina was still like, hey, if we can flatten the curve, let's do it. We were gaslit in these like meetings. They were putting us in like small spaces, like sitting side by side. And they were telling us essentially like, don't worry, this is the safest place that you could be. Like, there's nowhere safer, blah, 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 and like, I'm immunocompromised. And one of the reasons that I was going to stick around for this job was because I needed the fucking insurance, and now we're getting all this flack from these people that are talking about how we couldn't be safer anywhere else than here because look at all these metal surfaces. We're going to wipe them down with Alpat wipes, and Alpat wipes are alcohol. Like at the time, no one knew what was killing this virus. And it was all a bunch of jerk off motions, blah, blah, blah. Don't panic. And I'm over here like, yeah, well, I'm scared, my personal story was used to intimidate other people that worked there. Megan was, pushed to the side by Mike and cornered and made to feel threatened because they were upset on my behalf, and that really upset me. But so a couple of days into my time off, somebody from work texted me and they're like, hey, by the way, like, you might get an email, but if you haven't gotten the email, everybody has 24 hours to decide how they're going to navigate this COVID thing. And I never got any paperwork. I didn't get any call from HR. I didn't get any call from Mike or Sadra. The people that told me that this was happening while I and a couple other people were not even at work, that they were passing out these physical sheets. I didn't hear from anyone until almost 10 p.m. the day before. So I had less than 24 hours to decide. I had less than 24 hours to decide whether or not my health and the health and safety of the people around me that are also immunocompromised and my kid and like all this other stuff was worth continuing to work there. And then I was told that I wasn't going to be allowed to take the rest of my time off, that I had gotten 2 weeks time off and that I would have to come back in order to qualify for the $1.50 raise that they would give us in 3 months. Yeah.
What the fuck? So they weren't even giving y'all. I mean, I'm so sorry if y'all mentioned this in the last episode. It's been a while, but there was no hazard pay, I'm guessing, at all. Like during.
So the hazard pay happened because John and Meagan and a couple other people wrote a petition that they got a whole lot of people to sign, and then Mike and Sadra caught wind of it because somebody snitched, and they cut them off the day before the petition was going to be presented to Mike and Sadra. They came out with a hazard pay, and they said, hey, we're giving you guys hazard pay. So what they said was, if we worked for 90 days with no lates and no absences, unless a doctor's note was given, then at the end of that 90-day period, they would give them $1.50 hazard pay, but only that $1.50 would only last for 90 days. So you had to be there on time, not even a minute late, for 90 days, and then for 90 days you would get an extra $1.50.
You should just be happy that they gave you the 2 weeks off. Okay, that's what it comes down to, and y'all should just be grateful to have a job.
They weren't even going to let me take my 2 weeks off, though. That was the thing, is when I got that paperwork and I asked the HR person, hey, does this apply to me since I'm on time off, I'm on paid time off? He was like, you're going to have to come back. You're going to have to like come in and work. You can't just, what is this flatten the curve?
Because nothing says family like dying for the company.
Right?
For family.
I mean, I'll die for family, but I'm not dying for your company. Oh my God. That's what they try to get you. They try to get you believe that you really were family, so you would die for them.
mean, basically. I mean, they hid potential COVID cases. They hid exposures. One of the reasons why I left was because I was working part-time because I couldn't afford to pay my rent. I was working part-time elsewhere, public-facing job. And before North Carolina had really done anything, when all the bars and stuff were still open, there was potential that I'd been exposed. But do you think that anybody was told that there was potential that I'd been exposed? Nope.
We had someone at
guaranteed
work.
They did not. I can confirm that was not a thing. They did not do that.
Megan, yeah, you're here.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to unmute for a minute because I'm dumb. But
Sorry. No, it's okay. We've actually never had anyone call in before, so it was probably my bad. And they don't give me the option to be able to unmute, so my bad. I'm glad you figured it out. I'm sorry about that. I think with phone calls it's different, so you don't have to mute. I think it's just anyone who does it over the internet. But yeah, I work in a restaurant that's probably, besides being in an ICU ward with COVID patients, is apparently the most unsafe place to be during this. And we had someone in the back of the house catch COVID, and the owner didn't want to tell us that she had COVID. And that shit was wild. That goes back to, I would tell a family member if, I had a virus that could potentially kill them. But this company that says that we're family didn't want to tell me that someone that I work with has COVID. So, the fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So what was there? How much you could tell about the end, when it comes to you cutting ties with No Evil Foods? What can you tell us? What happened, or to an extent,
Yeah.
or what was the?
Yeah, I went in and I had a conversation, and I felt very, very pressured to, if I wasn't going to stay, to sign the general release, because it's not just a non-disclosure agreement. It's a general release, which is far harder to get out of. I actually had a lawyer at one point look it over, because I signed it under duress. And if I wanted to fight it, I could, because essentially they gave me less than 24 hours to make a decision. It was a life or death situation at the time because I'm immunocompromised. So I was forced to sign it under duress, and the pressure was either you need to stay and continue to work, or you need to sign this and you need to just never talk about us ever again. And like within the contract itself, there's a couple of things that mention like don't talk about our practices and our recipes and things like that. But the majority of the body of the contract is don't talk to the media, don't post on social media. And if we feel like you did anything to negatively impact our public facing image, you can be sued. And not even if they can prove it, but if they can prove that I influenced someone to do it. So the wording is very specific in that if they feel like I'm in cohorts with anybody that's doing anything negative, that I also risk litigation. Yeah, and like just the physical presence, them standing over me, the HR person, and Mike like standing beside me on either side of me to make sure that I'm signing this. So like they don't check in with me, they don't ask me how I'm doing. They're like, oh, we're family. But then as soon as I signed that and I cashed that check, which by the way, I want you to know that I went to the bank where the company banks and I got that shit in cash that like the minute I left, and then put it in my bank account because no way I was going to wait on it to clear. Straight up, I was just like, yeah, this is a shitty job.
Yeah. I've worked for places like that have done that, have like given people checks and then like they go to cash it or they go to like put it in their account and they're like, nah, there's no money in this account. Sorry.
Yeah. And if I'm remembering it correctly, they tied you getting the money to signing the NDA, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, so crazy. The money that we got wasn't actually severance the way that that's seen legally. So it wasn't severance. It was essentially payment for my agreement in signing that. I got paid money for that contract. But because they worded it as severance, when I filed for unemployment, I filed as if I had gotten severance. It took me 8 weeks to get unemployment, and I had to get a lawyer through a nonprofit organization to help me get unemployment because they gave me a total of 3 weeks of pay to sign that in that general release.
So Zoe Tommy said it's basically hush money.
Yep.
They were the Michael Cohen's
and
Stormy Daniels. That's what happened.
It's like some Trump shit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Because severance is what you get at the end of a job where you've accrued all of this time or paid time off, or like what you were paying into like some sort of company fund. Severance is what you get to help get between point A and point B. It's typically what's done in really big companies for people that are valued employees that are leaving on good terms. But like, that was not the case. That's not what I was given that money for. And I would not have been given that money because the people who chose to quit and potentially be rehired didn't get severance. Only the people who signed the general release and agreed to never, ever work for any no evil company, like for that main office or for any sort of no evil related company ever again.
All I'm saying is what I said the last episode. There used to be a time where the foremans, if you really hated them, ended up in like a meat grinder or ended up like it's Lost Furnace. He ended up in the furnace itself. I'm just saying he had an accident. I can see why that used to happen. After the first episode and just listening to y'all talk about this, I can understand why people say that unionization is the compromise to dragging these people out and beating them to death in front of their families, what they used to do, or it's burning factories down. I'm not saying anyone should do that for legal reasons, but I'm just saying is that is a historical fact. It's like we're getting back to a pre-New Deal era in labor laws. And like that's one of the reasons why they want to pack the Supreme Court with conservatives is because, yes, social issues are the thing, but they are more likely to start striking down labor laws and taking us back to like that Gilded Age. That's what they really want.
Yeah.
And it's you're going to start seeing, you've already seen that, and you're going to continue to see that, is because they gutted unions. With Reagan started gutting unions. That's when, like, that's the main one, is he gutted the air traffic controllers, and it just since then has been like a steady decline since the late 70s of unionization. And it's going to get to the point where it's pre-New Deal, and you're going to start seeing these massive conflicts, and you're going to start seeing like violence in the labor movement again. Which, I mean, I'm cool with, because we need to make unions militant again. But that's just my opinion, and I do not speak for everybody on the podcast, because I've gotten in trouble for that before. But I do not speak for everyone on the podcast when I say that. But with that being said, welcome back, Megan.
Hey.
Hey. So everyone knows us now because we got in Vice. Isn't this awesome? We're like the cool hipsters now, not the bad hipsters.
No, I mean, this is like just the whole saga of everything No Evil Food did is something that just needs to be heard, because it's a perfect example of how you can take a company that's so, quote, cool and, progressive and does all these progressive things, and they still don't fucking give a shit about their employees. Like, at the end of the day, you're just a dollar sign to them. And just hearing Cassie talk about her story again just has me, or Kathy has me super heated all over again. Just how the fuck do you make an immunocompromised person at the start of a pandemic sign something not allowing them that'll prevent them from getting unemployment? Like, just all of this shit. Like, I just don't understand how they can continue to justify what they're doing.
Capitalism is a hell.
Sorry, I'm all angry. I'm angry all over it.
Venture capital is a hell of a drug. That struck me like that is the icing on top of this shit fucking cake. That like this fucking company, right, is financed. I read it in the Vice.com article, right? I should stop saying Vice.com, which is Vice. I read it in the Vice article that they're funded by venture capitalists. Like, this isn't like a thing. This is like venture capital making this company. Oh, look, we're progressive and use socialist terms, but we're gonna bust unions. And like going back and listening to those recordings when they were, what did one of them say? They're like, unions are not socialist and something. I'm like, what the fuck are these people talking about? Like, I don't know. The whole thing, I'm so sorry y'all had to deal with this, because it is just fucking insane. It is completely mind-boggling to me that this still goes on. But then again, capitalism, and we should realize that this shit still goes. I've had people message us and be like, yo, I listened to this episode and our place did this too, and blah, 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 blah. Thank you so much. I want to hit up IWW and hit up my local union to be like, what do I need to do to, et cetera, this, that, and the third. So, we did some good work, y'all, with that first episode. So speaking of that, Megan, you want to give us an update? So like, what has happened since the episode has come out? Can you give us a rundown of everything? You said you wanted to rant, so here's your time to rant. All right. What has happened since the last time we spoke? Because it's been good news, correct?
Yes, so we do have some good news. Let me start with all the shit that pissed me off first. We did the podcast, which was really fun, really exciting. Like, I will always come back on here. But one thing there's a couple things, but let me start with an article came out in Veg News, and I gotta say, I'm still pretty mad about it. What ended up happening was the author of this article, I can't remember her name, but she wanted to get, quote, both perspectives on, people who were against the union, who were eligible to vote, and they wanted to get the owner, Mike and Sadra's perspective on everything, which I'm not inherently opposed to. But in this article, okay, so Mike and Sadra claim that those of us who organized are quote, taking big union money. Not true. I'd love to see some money for what we're doing here, but not really, no union is fucking paying us. That's just fucking ridiculous. I don't know where they came up with that. Not sure which one of them pulled that out of their ass, but they said that we were taking big union money, that we were extorting them. Also not true. I would love to see any fucking shred of evidence that that's true. And I know they're listening.
Wait, hold on. Time out. They said y'all, though. Hold on. Let me start red ringing here. They said y'all, the union, the workers, right, were exploiting the capitalists.
Extorting them, extorting
the capitalists.
Yeah.
Extorting the cap. That is fucking rich.
Bold fucking accusation, seeing as how there's no evidence for it and it's not true, and like it's just fucking crazy.
Wait.
You said this publicly.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I guess I didn't mention names specifically because I would say like that's means for slander right there, but
I completely agree. I've called them out on Twitter. I've asked them directly. I've tagged them directly and been like, hey, can you show me any evidence for these things? Why the fuck would you say this? But that's not even the end of it. They said that we are taking big union money, that we're extorting them, that everything we're saying is lies. Oh, okay, here we go. I have the quote pulled up. They have poured big union money into a nonstop coordinated campaign of harassment and extortion against us, our family, our team, our company, including disseminating slanderous, libelous statements about us and our team, purchasing expensive digital ads to confuse and misdirect consumers to fake websites, harassing our customers on social media. In some cases, Shadell and Wolyansky allege that these operatives have even encouraged them to endanger their lives and the safety of their young children, although former employees explicitly deny these claims, which was added in later on after we read this article and we were like, what the fuck are these people talking about? Like, so Mike, Phaedra, if you are listening, I would really fucking love to know what the hell you're talking about. Sorry, had to get that out of the way. So that came out and, oh man, like, oh.
Let me tell you something. These Soros operatives, sleeper cells, they're coming in.
I'm still waiting on my fucking Soros check or wherever whichever union. Like, do they think it's the UFCW handing us money to talk about our own experiences? Like, what the fuck do they think?
How much money did George Soros give you to try to start the communist union?
I don't know.
Oh my God! All right, please. So please continue because this is fucking rich.
And this is even before all the copyright shit, which I'm about to get into. So they have this article though, and I'm not going to read the whole fucking thing. It's in Veg News. If you search Veg News, no evil, I'm sure you can find it. But they had all these employees talking too about how we're a family, and I feel like this is my family, and everyone's attacking my family. It's like, dude, we're just talking about our fucking experiences. It's great that not everybody had such a horrible, negative, radicalizing experience at No Evil Foods, but a lot of us fucking did. And a lot of them aren't allowed to fucking talk about it because they had to sign those NDAs. And it's just fucking insane to me that they have the nerve to call us liars when we have documented evidence for literally 99% of fucking everything that we've said publicly. And I know that there was no fucking fact checking for any of those claims, because if somebody had gone and fact checked it, they wouldn't have published it in their fucking article. It just blows my mind that they have the audacity after everything that they did to claim I'm extorting them and taking big union money and, threatening their family. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, hey, nobody's actually saying throw anybody into a meat grinder. Like, I don't know. I
apologize if that's what they meant.
No, I don't even think that's what it is. I have no idea. Oh, I think we were sitting here debating like what random offhand comment might have spurred that insane claim. And it was actually on the David Feldman show. I think it was one of the first podcasts I did. And he had made a comment that was something along the lines of like, well, should we be showing up at these people's houses picketing? And that he posed it as a question. And my response to that was, well, for right now, we're just, we're doing the online activism. We're going to continue to do what we're doing, but I'm not opposed to any form of direct action. And apparently that's threatening their family and their children. And just what the fuck are they talking about? Anyway, sorry. But so that happened, and it's just insane. On top of that, you kind of know about all the copyright stuff. So, them trying to get all of their anti-union bullshit and speeches pulled down. They had that little sock account on Twitter. Do you remember that? I don't know if any of you saw it, but there was this sock account on Twitter that was making handles that were similar to ours to try to confuse people, and just going on and just doing a really shitty job of like promoting the company and trying to have little clapbacks at us and weird stuff like that. And I guess I can't confirm that it was, Mike's sister, Rachel Woliansky. But when all of this copyright stuff started to happen, and some of these journalists and podcasters and everybody were pushing back on it, trying to be like, okay, well, this isn't, they were trying to fight it so they can continue to have the content on their site or whatever, they get these emails from this crazy person who's signing the name as John's Twitter handle. And, that's why they ended up that's why one of the hosting sites ended up finding it completely ridiculous and restored the audio, because, this person is just like using Twitter handles to sign names and be sassy. I could explain this better. Sorry, I'm so heated about all of this, and I know I'm all over the place.
No, it's totally fine. Like the copyright shit, I'm glad that got handled, and that shit was fucking wild.
Yeah.
But we ended up having to leave one of our platform. We had SoundCloud. We ended up having to leave SoundCloud because they didn't want to hear us out. Yeah. And so we just said, fuck y'all. And Libsyn, shout out to Libsyn, they did the right thing, and they investigated, and they worked with us, and they worked with everyone, and they came up with their own conclusion, and they did good. And because of that, we're not getting any money from Libsyn, but I'm telling you that Libsyn's cool, and y'all should definitely use that for your podcast and listening, because they're dope. And fuck SoundCloud.
And just to shout out Kate, like she did do a lot of work in that.
Kate did a lot of our very own comrade Kate did a lot of work, and she would say that it was a team effort, and there was a lot of people involved, and there were a lot of people involved, especially on y'all's end, and a lot of other people deserve a big thanks, but like definitely our very own comrade Kate came through with her knowledge of the law, and really came through for the podcast, and we really appreciate her, and she's a valued asset, and we love Kate. Yes. Wherever you are tonight, Kate.
Fuck yeah, Kate. I hope her move is going well.
Same. She'll be back next week, y'all. Don't worry. I know everyone loves Kate, and everyone talks about Kate's their favorite, and everyone loves Comrade Kate. She'll be back. Don't worry. Not going anywhere.
But skipping, but on to the good news. Sorry, 1 second. My phone is fucking up. Sorry. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Sorry. So the good news, again, being, cautious about what I say, but as, it was published in a Vice article that the NLRB found merit in all of the charges against No Evil Foods between John and Courtney. They found merit in all of the charges. So not only have these people done exactly what we're claiming they did, because, we were all fucking there for it. We know what happened. They know what happened. But, not only did they do all of that and then deny it, and then turn around and tell a bunch of lies publicly about all of us in the organizing committee and the people who have been speaking out against this company. Just the fact that they just have the audacity to still, not make a public apology about it. And it really blows my mind. And that's just my personal opinion. I think they owe every single person that was there during the union drive and after an apology for the way that they acted. I still welcome open dialogue with them if they want to chat with me. So they found merit in all the cases. And to my knowledge, terms of the settlement are being worked out currently. So that's a really big win.
And just to real quick, just to reiterate, the fact that the NLRB found that they violated the law is crazy, because Trump's administration has gutted the national the NLRB, right?
Exactly.
So they have acted. I don't even know who the head of it is now. I think it was some big money corporate dude. But the fact that No Evil Foods fucked up so bad that a right-wing anti-union controlled National Labor Relations Board found that they fucked up is big, and I'm really happy for y'all that they you got that win, because that's crazy that under this fascist administration that somehow people trying to unionize won a case, because that's a big deal. The fact that they fucked up so bad that even the Trump administration was like, yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah, and what's also really fucking awesome, well, it's awesome is a strong word, but, after coworkers who had been there and either been fired or had quit for the same kind of reasons that, like John and Courtney got fired, people who were facing the same kind of bullshit from management, more cases tried to open up. I can think of 3 people off the top of my head who tried to open up cases. And what's really unfortunate about it is there is a very, very short statute of limitations on, you have to file by a certain time after you were terminated or let go or face, whatever violation was committed. And I know at least 2 of these people weren't able to go forward with the case because they had waited too long to file. So that's really disappointing. But I think a lot of times what it takes is seeing somebody deal with all of this bullshit and succeed for other people to be like, well, wait a minute, you're right. All of that was wrong. I want justice too. So that was really cool to see. We've reconnected with a lot of people that used to work there just because of all of this, and them, giving us insight that we didn't even have before. Apparently, hang on, let me double check and make sure I'm allowed to say this.
It's all good, because we know they're going to be listening because they listened the last time. So anyway,
while she's doing that, I was thinking when she was talking about how they felt threatened about picketing their house. I just imagine Mike and Sadra, like the McCloskeys, just out in the front lawn with their guns, just like,
oh my god, those memes were the fucking best.
Oh man.
Because they were fucking shit hammered.
They were
from brunch
on white wine. They were
white wine spritzers.
They were white wine drunk.
White wine and benzos. She has this little pea shooter. His AR was fucking dope though. That looked like some pre-band shit, and I really want that. Was fucking dope. That's the one I want. But he looked like something out of fucking bootleg Miami Vice.
He did. He definitely has a Scarface fantasy. For sure.
As what'd you say? You had mustard stains?
Just mustard stains.
Yeah.
Sweaty for no reason,
Dude, the blacks were there. You would get sweaty too if the blacks were there. He was like,
hi, Joe Biden.
He was like, oh man, not the blacks. Let me get my gun.
So, and that's actually a funny thing that you say, because we're drawing that comparison to Mike and Sadra as far as the McCloskeys go, and being kind of uncomfortable around the blacks, because I don't know if you guys can imagine what a leftist vegan warehouse in Asheville, South Carolina looks like. It was pretty goddamn homogenous.
It's like a jar of mayonnaise.
Yeah, well, like a jar of veganese.
Oh,
There
Damn.
were people of color that worked there, including like young black women, black trans women, and like a lot of them were treated really badly. Like always treated like the angry black woman. One of them was actually let go in the middle of a shift while her phone was dead and she had no vehicle of her own. Just left, and it was cold outside, and she like had to walk to a nearby gas station to charge her phone to get someone to come pick her up. Yeah, because she had a bad attitude.
holy shit.
She had a bad attitude.
Oh yeah, and that I know exactly who you're talking about, and that was a person who very, very strongly defended the company during the union drive. So it's like your loyalty couldn't even like get these people to protect you. It's fucking disgusting.
So much for family.
Yeah. Another one of the black women that works there, black trans woman, we're very close with. We were having a meeting about all the new cool things that they're starting to offer, because now they're a multi-million-dollar company, blah, blah, blah. And one of those things was like 6 sessions of therapy or like life training or whatever, but like nothing to do with like food scarcity or, like healthcare specific to like trans people or immunocompromised people, stuff like that. And she got understandably upset, and she was like chased down by one of those well-meaning, lukewarm fucking milquetoast liberals to be like, hey, why don't you just calm down? Okay, why don't you just calm down? You're getting a little excited, all right? Listen.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So I'm sorry to interject here, but
No, go ahead.
like during all of this, when people were really voicing their concerns, and this was, I think, before they made us do the 24-hour decision, everybody was really concerned and worked up about all of this and, voicing their concerns between being immunocompromised and just what COVID meant for everybody there. These fuckers actually suggested, I'm pretty sure I had it on a piece of paper that they typed and printed out, but I don't think I have it anymore. But they actually fucking suggested that we utilize our fucking 6 free phone calls to a therapist if we're feeling anxious about a goddamn pandemic. Sorry, that just made me think of that. They're just like, oh, well, if you're anxious about possibly dying, go ahead and use your free therapy sessions. We're such a great company. Like, what the fuck?
I swear to you, my company did the exact same thing. Not only that, if you voiced your opinion about it, like they would be like, oh yeah, it's okay. We can all have a chat. Let's go talk to HR. I swear.
Yeah.
I swear to you.
Hold on. I'm gonna be that meme. I'm gonna be that meme real quick. Hold on. They offered y'all therapy. Our therapy is going into the cooler and fucking screaming at the top of our lungs. Because some boomer's coughing up a lung, spewing everywhere, and doesn't want to wear a mask.
Yeah, they offered us some really weird, like the company that I work for. I'll talk to you guys about it after, but they have a lot of overreach and like I don't really want to go and vent to a company mandated therapist. I don't think anybody wants to do that at all.
Who probably would go and who would probably snitch on you if you said anything.
Yeah, unmute your mic.
That was my biggest fear. That was why I never fucking utilized those phone calls. Lord knows we could all use some therapy, but I just at that point I didn't trust them so much that I didn't want to talk to anybody that was affiliated with their company about anything personal.
Yeah, that's why we start podcasts, because that's therapy. We just like vent into a microphone and post it on social media and get money from Patreon.
Cassie, I saw your
therapy.
Cassie, I saw your eyes light up when I said, were you going to say something? Were you wanting to say something?
Yeah. So one of the ways that they try to sell you on using that like corporate therapy stuff is by like telling you that they can't tell your boss what you say. They're like, they're legally not allowed to tell us anything that you talk about in there. So you could go and talk about anything you want. And like, just like really just being like, yeah, you can anything. Like they won't tell us.
Yeah, they overemphasize it. They're like, you don't worry.
I trust my fucking parish priest over the fucking therapist any day. Like, good Lord. And like they could pull like some early like 90s 2000s shit in like three-way call. Like they're just like holding over the microphone, like how you used to three-way call people when you didn't know someone else was on the other line. You just have Mike and Saber like listen in and be like, oh shit, did you just hear what they said? It's like we're back in high school.
It just wouldn't even surprise me anymore.
All right, Megan, did you look up what you need to look up and see if you could talk to us about that?
Yeah. So I just didn't want to be
full circle.
Sorry, I didn't want to be too specific about like who it was. I don't know how comfortable they'd be with me like throwing their name out there or anything. But we reconnected with somebody who worked there during the union drive. And this person was a really, really nice person. They voted no. And we ended up finding out why after, they started seeing all this stuff online and us talking about it and everything. And they reached out to us. And they told us, and now this is coming from this person, and I wasn't there for it, but this person told us that while they were being interviewed for a position, like a promotion, this person asked the plant manager and another higher up salaried manager, what they thought of all this union stuff, because this was still before the vote, I believe. It was either like before the vote or right after it. I can't remember the timeline specifically. But when this person asked management, how they feel about the union drive, the plant manager straight up told them that they were going to fire the organizers and that they were going to make sure that people who supported it were gone. And I believe shortly after that is when our 24-hour decision happened. And like I said, I can't prove that, but this person had no reason to reach out to us and make something like that up. It's just absolutely crazy how just untouchable they thought they were. It just really makes me happy that the NLRB did the right thing and found merit in the charges. So it's just this has been the craziest year of my life, probably.
Real quick, does No Evil Foods have like a brand of soup?
No.
Damn it.
I don't think so.
That's the soup that we need to start throwing at people. Like, just throw it at them at the house. Be like, this is peak irony. I bought this soup just to break your window. Because I love that video going around, soup for my family. But
Comrade pluck noodle soup for my family.
Yes. All right. So, y'all, I don't even know what else to say. This is fucking this. The first episode was wild, and this episode's wild. But like, do y'all have Cassie? Anything else you want to rant about? I feel like this. Yeah, rant. I mean, we still got plenty of time. I mean, I don't have anything to do till whatever late tomorrow. Tommy is Tommy. So
Don't sleep.
Y'all.
Fair enough. Okay, so I got a couple of things, right? So we're talking about during the union drive, No Evil Food kept talking about how they were this tiny little startup company and like no one would invest in them, blah, blah, blah. But they hired the Union Avoidance Council that they hired, which was also the Union Avoidance Council that was hired by HCA, which is a very large connection of hospitals. Like they're one of the largest privately run hospital corporations in the country. They have a shit ton of them. And they also hired that same Union Avoidance Council. I also recently found out that same Union Avoidance Council was also hired by Highwire Brewing because their company is also attempting to unionize. So this Union Avoidance Council company is making its way through all of these like small businesses in town that are attempting to unionize and just like plowing over it. I also found out that this particular Union Avoidance Council doesn't just do Union Avoidance Council, they also do HR training. They also help you write your employee handbook. They also teach management and HR at your company what laws are in what places, right? And so like when we're talking about unionizing in North Carolina in particular, we're a right to work state. So as long as a sizable portion of the company wants to unionize, it doesn't matter how many people actually sign up for the union anymore. Like you can work in a unionized company and not be a part of that union because of being right to work. So essentially when you unionize in places like North Carolina, oh yeah, absolute garbage. It's more of just like a, hey, we want to be taken seriously. We don't feel like we're being treated fairly. It's really more of just like a display than it is like an actual like fist. You know what I mean? It doesn't have as much power because we are in the South, but like they were that upset with us that they hired one of the largest Union Avoidance Council companies and also one of the oldest, like one of the oldest continuations of a law firm.
I was just about to say, you know who's still around, who they're going to call next? The Pinkertons. They're still around in some shape or form. They're still around. So next thing you know, the Pinkertons are going to show up and y'all going to have street battles like in the old days. That's what's next. That's crazy. It's like, is that brewery? Please tell me that brewery is like one of those hipster places that like tries to say like they're progressive and liberal and, you know.
Have you never heard of Highwire Brewing?
I don't really drink, so no.
That's fair. Me either. This is not alcoholic apple cider from Aldi.
Hell yeah, I'm drinking bubbly.
Yeah. Listen, I love sparkly stuff. Okay, so Highwire Brewing is very hipster. Highwire Brewing is like circus themed craft and microbrews. They were also one of the first breweries to reopen after like the breweries were allowed to open in North Carolina. And like it's a very small space and it was overcrowded. And like one of the reasons why the employees wanted to unionize was because of the way that they were being treated over this whole COVID thing. And they like stock, cut, and paste the same fucking shit. Like I've been talking to some of the employees from Highwire about it, and like no joke, they're saying things like, we're a family, this union's gonna come between you and your family, it's like a shitty gym membership, like all of those things that you heard that felt like really infuriating, really stupid fucking talking points. Those are from that law firm. They're writing that shit. This isn't just our dumbass managers. People are paying thousands of dollars a day, hundreds of dollars an hour for this bullshit. What? And they're making people that aren't even other people's direct supervisors. So like the VP of production, Mark, did a speech and he was a fucking Teamster. He was a fucking Teamster. He built his whole goddamn life on being a fucking union member. He's got a goddamn master's degree because he was a fucking union member. And then he's going to be like, yeah, well, not really much changed. I just walked by a picture of Jimmy Hoffa every day. He's not my direct supervisor. He's a VP of production. He's a dude who sits in a fucking office. I barely even know that guy. And like, why is he giving me a speech like he's going to appeal to my reason? You know, they're doing that. Like everybody that's in any sort of management position that can't vote, they're getting them to do these speeches. And they're encouraging employees that are against the union to become reactionary against people who are trying to make these points, who are trying to say like, hey, this is silly. It's like, it's very intentional. Like the person that I was just talking about, they got fired and sent home in the middle of a shift with no phone charge and no car. She was really reactionary during those meetings because she genuinely felt like if she sided with the company that she'd be safe. And like, she was pretty volatile. Like there were several instances where organizers or just people who were like either on the fence that were willing to speak or like whatever were trying to have these conversations. And she would speak out on behalf of the company pretty aggressively, you know, but then at the end of the day, she still got let go. She got like fucking unceremoniously booted out the front door and then had her number changed. You know, like we have a key code to get in, and they just, before they fired her, they X'd out her key code so she couldn't even get back in if she had needed to.
They still threw her under the bus. Like that's like when you're not family. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah. You know, not only are you not family, but like specifically, you are replaceable. They also hire a lot of felons through a program specifically that gets felons really good jobs. And then they essentially like threatened them. They were like, hey, we don't drug test, but if you get a union, you might get drug tested.
Yeah, I think, Megan, y'all mentioned that in the first episode, right? I think that was one thing that was brought up, that like they intimidate, they hire felons. It's already almost damn near impossible to get a job as a convicted felon. These people are trying to get their lives back together, and then they get a job, and then they threaten them with this bullshit if they join the union. It's fucking wild. Like I can see, like, it seems like if you give them any sort of in, like they'll try to work their way in and cause divide and just divide and conquer shit as best they can to do anything to keep people from forming the union. It's fucking wild.
I mean, it bled out onto the production floor. Like people were like getting into screaming matches. You know?
It should have bled onto the production floor, but the wrong blood was spilled. It should have been. Yeah. It should have been. Anyway, y'all know my stance, but like, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know.
Yeah.
Wait, well, hold on, Nelson. We don't want people to feel threatened. Okay.
I drew this. This is
yes.
Sandra. This is Mike, and this is their mullet-clad children.
Can you take a picture of that? Can you take a picture of that and send it to me, and I'll make that the image for the thumbnail for the episode? Hell yeah! Oh my god, that's fucking wild. Tommy, do you want to say something?
No, I'm just in awe at capitalism. I don't know why. I'm shocked, but it does. But it's a good thing Joe Biden's going to be president, because
Joe Biden's going to save us, y'all. Joe Biden's going to fucking make it all better.
Yeah.
And keep the Taft-Hartley Act in place so we have right to work laws and all this other bullshit.
Corn Pop will fucking protect workers' rights.
Corn Pop. Tommy,
Pop was a bad dude.
Tommy, can you give us some more lines from the debate real quick? I want to have Joe Biden.
He didn't say anything.
I want to have Joe Biden back on.
Okay. This is what Joe Biden did.
Man, will you shut up, man? What are you saying?
This is what no, I don't support climate change. I don't support the New Deal. Fuck that.
What do you say?
No, I don't want to defund the police. I just want to divert money elsewhere, but don't defund the police. I don't want to do that.
Mr. Vice President, so you do not support the Green New Deal, but you think that climate change
is a big deal. It's a problem. But my deal is way better. It's called the Biden deal, where we don't do shit for 10 years and watch the country burn.
Sir, do you believe in law and order? Are you a law and order candidate?
Yes, I believe in law. That's why I don't believe in defunding the police. I just want to take money and put it elsewhere, not defund the police. I like the police. They're my best friend.
God. Anyway. Oh, God, we're fucked. Megan, do you have anything else you want to say? Do you want to rant for a few more minutes? I mean, I don't. It's all you know, like it's all good. This is just a conversation. I know people really enjoyed the first episode and they're ready to hear the second episode. So, do you have anything else you want to throw in?
Oh God, I could probably still rant for another fucking 6 hours, but I'll try to condense it down.
You want to rant for another? You want to rant for like another 15 minutes, and we'll call it a night.
Wait, before we call it a night, can we just revel in the irony?
Tommy, you want to talk to the debate? You want to talk about the debate, don't you?
No. I want to. I just want to. Listen, I'm here to tell you guys that it is wrong of you to wish Trump death. That is wrong. You shouldn't do it. Let me tell you. I'm disgusted by this. It upsets me as a person because Melania should go too. I'm just saying that the whole Trump family just needs to just drop dead of COVID, and I'm okay with saying that. And I think you should be too. Don't be sexist. Melania goes too. That's all.
Oh, high horses, so I'm definitely not on a high horse.
I'm ready. Are y'all ready for President Mike Pence?
Do y'all?
Under his eye.
It'll be America will be what like Rome is to Christians. It's just
like Rome. I laugh because people we're gonna veer off into this because I want to talk about this for a second. Like people are like, what blows my mind about liberals, right, is that one, they think that if Trump, so let's say best case scenario, Trump loses, Biden wins, and Trump leaves office, right? And Biden is in, and they somehow think that like this shit is going to change, that they somehow think things are going to get better. Okay. Like it does not, because like the shit that Trump brought to the surface, right? These fascists, these armed fascists, this is what they are, in the streets, fucking shooting and killing people and fucking raising hell, right? If they're this like foaming at the mouth racist assholes, if you think that they're going to go away, no, they're going to come boiling up even farther to the surface because their guy lost, and they're not going to accept it. And then they're going to be there, because Trump's going to say some shit. Trump's going to be like, I don't accept the election results, but I'm going to leave because the deep state wants me to leave. Exactly, with the hands and everything. Yes, this is blah, 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 blah. And then he's going to like tongue in cheek, like he did, what did he say? Like stand down and stay ready or what, some bullshit. And like, they're going to be emboldened to do shit. And like, people think that like, oh, we're going to be in like a civil war. Like, people don't realize like a civil war doesn't have to be like our first civil war, because there's going to be another one. Like our first civil war, where it is a clear distinction line, organized armies versus each other. No, it could be like Ukraine, where there's a bunch of different fucking militias fighting each other, and one part of the country is in a fucking war, and the other part of the country is like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's whatever. And that could totally be the case here, whereas like the Pacific Northwest and places could fucking burn. I'm not talking about the forest fires that are going on right now. I'm talking about they could literally devolve into a civil war, and like the rest of the country will be fine. And they'll just go on about their business. Like, it doesn't have to be the entire nation engulfed in armed conflict. It can be pockets of extreme violence to the point where it is an insurgency, and the rest of the country going along with their everyday lives. And another thing that pisses me off is, and I know I don't speak for everybody when I say this, but the thought that like people think that like, oh, Mike Pence isn't that bad. I mean, Mike Pence fucking believes that God is on his side. He believes, I don't want to repeat what he believes. We all know what he believes when it comes to electricity. But like the fact that that man believes, like, Trump's a fucking moron. Mike Pence is evil. Like, Mike Pence is the established evil Bush W on steroids with God that would be, like I said the other day, I was like, liberals will be thankful that Mike Pence is now president and not Trump, while wearing handmaidens uniforms and not getting the fucking irony that like that is the America that he wants. He wants the dystopian social conservative bullshit that we saw under the Bush administration, but like times 10. And the entire administration has to go. It is not just Trump that is the problem. It is the entire fucking system. And I ranted for 6 hours because it really upsets me when I see this shit on social media and I get told that like, oh no, Mike Pence can never. No, they're gonna fuck it. If Trump died, this is Nelson's hypothetical, right? Real quick, just bear me real quick. Trump dies of COVID, right? He croaks before the election. They are going to drag his fucking body out and make him a fucking saint. You think the rehabilitation of Bush by these liberals are bad. Wait till Republicans have their fucking martyr in Trump, and he will be more powerful dead than he ever was alive. The same fucking people that like to quote Thomas Sankara when he said, "You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill an idea." I'm sorry, I think that was Thomas Sankara. It might have been Fred Hampton. Either way, it's true. They say that, and they don't fucking get that Republicans will do the same thing with Trump. It's like, he can die, but his legacy, what he spoke for, Mike Pence, who is a much more elegant speaker than Donald Trump, will come out and say, peace through unity, unity through faith. Trump is our guiding light. We must remember your fallen king. They'll pull that shit from JFK. Remember your fallen king. And he will galvanize those social conservatives that fucking foam at the mouth for Jesus. And they'll fucking he'll get those quote unquote never Trump Republicans. The Lincoln Project will just fucking go away like it never happened. They'll go back to 2014 where they're making memes saying that Trayvon Martin deserved to get shot, because that's all the fucking people that said that are in the Lincoln Project right now. They didn't fucking change their views. They're still neocon fucking war criminals. Okay. People think that like the Lincoln Project's so cool because they're making anti-Trump memes. These motherfuckers are the same people in the Bush administration saying that we should bomb Iraq. Go fuck yourself. And like, they're going to go back to the Republican Party. All these people, all these neocons that quote unquote left the Republican Party are going to go marching right back, because Mike Pence is their establishment fucking hero that can get them to come back to the Republican Party. And then he will use that power, and he will use the martyrdom of Trump to destroy Joe Biden. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Mike Pence would beat Joe Biden. I don't speak for the entire podcast when I say this. I'm just saying that is my hypothetical, my thing, my spiel that like I think that would happen, and I've been right before, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's the deep state. I'll tell you, they're putting chemicals in the water, and turning the frogs gay. I have the papers. I know what I'm doing. Okay, the deep state is out there. They're gonna get you.
Thorough sleeper cells and no evil food.
Antifa. But yeah, that's my rant. I think that people are very naive to think that things are going to get better before they get worse. So that's my hypothesis in a nutshell.
I do want to piggyback off your handmade thing, and I don't know if
piggyback off me however you want, Tommy. I will carry you across that finish line because I love you.
Carry me. But I just want to, I don't know if our viewers know or if a lot of people know, but Amy Coney Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett, she is a part of the Catholic sect that has handmaid. So who advises her on certain things. So, maybe we should.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she has a handmaid.
No.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
No. Yeah.
I'm gonna fact check this. I'm gonna send this to PolitiFact.
Fact check it.
I believe there's some right wing extremists, but that's fucking weird. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to. People at home need to fact check this. If the notorious ACB, as they're calling her now, has this weird thing. Tommy, I believe you. I want to believe you, but I don't want to believe you because that's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, she has a
Cass.
Yeah.
She's from the one of the parties, like one of the government Christian establishment parties that The Handmaid's Tale was written about.
The family. Remember, they did a documentary on it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh shit! That's my god. Those motherfuckers are insane.
She's a part of a Christian movement that is part of what inspired Margaret Atwood to write Handmaid's Tale. Like their ideas on feminism and womanhood and all that stuff. She wasn't around for that, obviously, but she's allied with that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a shit ton of articles about it recently.
Yeah.
We are so fucked.
Yeah.
Go buy guns, buy ammo, get some training, study the blade, find friends that are EMTs, and learn basic first aid. And it's going to get time to go to the hills and start a protracted people's war in Appalachia, a Maoist resistance group. Woo! This is gonna be fun. Holy shit, that's fucking wild. Wow. If it's the family, I watched that documentary on Netflix. That shit's fucking wild. And when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, this is the fucking this is Gilead. This is the fucking people that like want to do fucking Gilead. Oh my God. But oh my God. Megan, you want to get the final word before we sign off?
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
Tell us why we should all eat meat and not go vegan.
No, I will tell you again. No, that is not the moral of the story. We've been over this. No.
Oh man. Oh God. All right. So any last words from anybody before we sign off? Before I do this outro?
Fuck Blue Horizon, fuck City, and fuck Union Busters.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Fuck No Evil Foods and Whole Foods and Amazon and everybody.
Yeah. Fuck it all.
Hell yeah. Fuck it all.
Fuck
All
the
right,
entire system.
Burn it down. All right, y'all. If that's it, Megan, I'm not going to mute you because we want to talk after we're done recording. And did you figure out how to unmute yourself?
Who, me? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Because I'm going to mute everybody while I do this outro. So y'all stay on. We're going to talk a bit after we're done here. But anyway, y'all. At Dixieland, the proletariat, we believe the South will rise again, but this time for the right reasons, those being worker-owned means of production, decolonization, and self-determination for all oppressed peoples. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on social media at Dixie Prol. We are coming to you from the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement, Montgomery, Alabama, and the Bluff City, Memphis, Tennessee. We would also like to recognize that we're recording on occupied land that rightfully belongs to the Muskogee and Chickasaw nations. Y'all, I know we were out for 2 weeks, but we are back. We have some great episodes coming up for y'all this month. And y'all stay tuned because we got some cool stuff and everyone will be back, even your favorite comrade Kate and brother William and former farmer Tyler Pig. And y'all, thank you to all our fans. We're getting bigger. We got about 30,000 downloads. We've been doing this for a year now. Actually, I want to say this is our Dirty 30 episode. We've been doing this for about a year. We started with our first episode October of last year, and so we're at 30,000 downloads in 1 year. Thank you all so much. Never thought we'd get this big, and we hope that we have 30,000 more downloads or more come next year. We're gonna keep doing this until we get dragged out and taken away by the federal police and thrown into a camp or shot. So, as Tyler would say, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see y'all next time.